haven't done the AFC NFC East or the AFC NFC West. So we're going to try and cram all 4 of those divisions today, and talk about who we think. So we're going to try and rush through this a little bit. So we're sorry we're not taking as much time, but obviously the season already started. Luckily, we already did the NFC North. So we really can't lie about, I had the Chiefs winning, or I had the Chiefs losing in this game. I knew it. So you can check tape. I had the Lions losing. I'm not afraid to say it. So we're going to keep the records the same. So here we go. Do you want to start with East, and do you want to start with AFC or NFC?
Let's go with East, and we'll start with AFC.
AFC. Okay.
AFC East to start.
I was looking at East, and I was like, okay, and I almost started with NFC East. All right, AFC East. So, I'll go from 1 to 4 here. Okay. So first and number 1, I have at 11-6 the Buffalo Bills. Okay. At number 2, I have the Miami Dolphins at 11-6. Okay. I have 3 at the New York Jets at 11-6.
What the heck?
And I had at 4 the New England Patriots at 7-10.
11-6, a 3-way tie for first. Is that what you're telling me?
Kind of. Yeah. I didn't like it either. I don't agree with it, but you know what? I'm going to go with it. It sucks because I kind of got stuck on some of them that I had already picked that they, won or lost.
Oh, sure.
And, I will say this. I feel a lot differently about the Jets now than I did when I was first doing the divisions. So, I think the Jets one is far from it. I do look at the Dolphins schedule, and I feel like it is a very winnable schedule. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of why I think the Bills have somewhat of a rough schedule as well. And as much as I'm not a huge fan of the Patriots, I actually think, in my opinion, I think they might be worse than 7-10. But I was kind of looking at the schedule, and I'm kind of like, I could see them winning some of these like random games or losing some of the games that they probably should. But it's Bill Belichick. It's hard for me to just be like, oh, they're going to be the worst team, because they're not. I mean, Bill Belichick does not have the worst teams. It just doesn't happen. Watch now, he's going to be the worst. But anyway,
all right.
I just that's kind of how my feeling was on AFC East. But I do think the Bills will come out on top. Dolphins will be second, and then Jets third, and Patriots fourth.
Okay. So all right, gotcha. All right, so here's mine. I'm going 1 to 4 as well. Buffalo Bills, I have finishing at 13-4. I think that they're going to have a pretty good offensive season, and I think they can get through the schedule. I have the New York Jets at number 2. I have them finishing 12-5. I think that they're going to be a really good football team with Aaron Rodgers, and I was watching a little bit of the Hard Knocks. Mm-hmm. They got a really good team. It's going to be really hard to beat this team now that they have an actual legitimate quarterback and legit weapons. So number 3, I have the Miami Dolphins at 10-7. I do think that their success is hinging on Tua, if he can stay healthy. And also, too, if this defense can hold it together. So we'll see. I mean, they were a hot team to start last season, and they fell off short. We'll see if they can be hot all season, but I have them finishing 10-7 in third place. New England Patriots, I'm not so high on. I think that they have a lot to work on, especially offensively. I have them at 5-12. So I think their defense will be respectable because Bill Belichick is a defensive coach. But I know that they brought back Bill O'Brien as the OC in place of Matt Pritchard, which is great, or Matt Patricia. And I just think that they have a lot of questionable positions that they need to address, like tight end, receiver. Mac Jones is a good quarterback, but how's that offensive line is my question. And then their defense is probably going to be on the field a lot. So again, I have them finishing at 5-12 in the AFC East.
All right. I will say this. I I'll kind of push back on the Jets just because I really am worried about that offensive line. Like, Aaron, I think, I listen to Colin Cowherd, as I say ad nauseum a lot, but, he did bring up a really good point that Aaron Rodgers, his whole career has been in Green Bay, and they've never had a bad offensive line. Like, they're always a really good offensive line team. So Aaron Rodgers, not only is he older now, so he's not going to move as much. He's had injuries. Now he's got to get that ball out quicker with guys that, yes, he has been working on the offseason, so that is a plus. But with guys who he doesn't know that well yet. I mean, he still is getting to know a lot of these guys. So I do worry about that offensive line. And also, they do face a lot of teams with really good pass rushers. Buffalo in their division, they face them twice. They have Von Miller. That's, at least one sack in both, in both of those, or he'll have 2 sacks in both of those games.
Yeah.
They face Dallas, Micah Parsons, the Dolphins twice, Bradley Chubb, guys like that you're seeing constantly on this schedule. And that's what makes me a little bit nervous. Like, even Washington, even though I think I have the Jets winning the game against Washington, Chase Young, that guy he's healthy.
Yeah.
He's got a really good motor and he's really talented. So I do worry about that a little bit. So that's kind of why I didn't have them up so high. But obviously I have them in a winning record, and I think I do have them in the playoffs. But I am a little worried about the Jets. I don't think I put them as 11-6. I would say I think I'm wrong on that one. I think they're going to have less wins. I think maybe 9 or 10 wins would probably be a better one, but I'm going to stick with it since I already did it, and I don't want to have to go back and change things.
Sure. Well, I think the addition with Dalvin Cook, Breece Hall's coming back. I get that their offensive line needs some work, but I will say too that it's a young line. It's average. I wouldn't say it's above average. It's average. I think though that if they can play with confidence, they could at least keep the pocket clean long enough for Aaron Rodgers to make a decision with the football. And he's a very good decision maker. Like, him and Garrett Wilson are already on a pretty good page. And, you have Alan Lazard, who he already has a really good rapport with. So I just think that yes, you're right that, he hasn't spent a lot of time with them because he was in Green Bay for his entire career up until now. But I think additionally, too, is Aaron Rodgers is doing something that he hasn't done before, which is actually bonding with his younger teammates and being a role model, a mentor, and getting involved in the building process, which we haven't seen Aaron Rodgers or known Aaron Rodgers to do. And I think him doing that in a new place with a coach like Zavala, I think is terrific. So I do have high expectations for them because they also have a fantastic defense. And I think offensively, they can put pressure on some of these defenses because they will probably get that ball out quicker than people think. Like, they're really good about running the quick action screens or, dumping it off to a running back. I do think that'll open up and change a lot of the pressure. Does that mean that Aaron Rodgers won't get sacked every now and again? No, but I think that they could be creative enough to create space for him. And plus, he's still mobile. Like, yes, he's nearly 40, but he is still very mobile for his age as the quarterback, and that's what he's been known for in his career. So I think that they will be okay, but I agree, though, their line is average at best. So that's probably the linchpin in this entire thing. So
and I don't want people to think like I don't think they're going. They're going to score. They're going to score a lot.
No,
but I just think there are going to be.
We heard you. You said that they were going to be dog water. Everyone on this program heard it.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, like I think they would even struggle against the Raiders. Like, and it's in Las Vegas. Like, Max Crosby, he wreaks havoc. So I look at a lot of the teams like. There's a lot of pass rush. In Cleveland, Myles Garrett. That's scary as well. So, these are some games that I think that they can win, but I also do think there's a moment where they need that big moment, and he gets sacked, and it's like that kind of was where what we needed to do to push it over the edge. So I can see some wins slipping away from them just because. Just because of that offensive line. So that's all I'm saying.